Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 84 of the 40k Badcast. My name is Dan Boyd, and I am joined, as always, by a guy who is already in the ring by the time my entrance music hits. That's right, it's Jobber McRingworm.
Oh, God. Ooh, God.
Ooh.
Both, the thing is, I know what jobber means, but both of those, jobber ringworm does sound like a real bad affliction that I need to see a number of specialized medical experts to take care of.
Yeah, you know, I've had ringworm.
You got it from a wrestling mat, am I correct?
Yes, I wrestled in high school. Not professional wrestling, as that's usually not a high school team sport, though it would be cool if it was.
Oh, man, it would be extremely cool because you wouldn't just be getting like high school sports stuff. You'd also be getting in like the theater kids and the arts and crafts kids. You could actually really make a sort of holistic high school experience with a professional wrestling
And
class.
most importantly, the insane backyard wrestling kids.
Oh, of course, the insane backyard wrestling kids. You finally have a place where they can excel and feel like they're accepted and get some good A's in their report cards. And hey, you know what? While you're at it, since you probably don't have the budget to license music for your entry music and stuff like that, bring the band kids in too.
Yeah, man.
You can get together basically every department of the school, save for Ag Ed, under one roof with this sort of program. I should be the head of it. Who's the big teacher person in the country? Head of education
Principal.
services. Okay, yeah,
You
sure.
should be the principal of schools.
I should be America's principal of schools. 2 cars in every garage and a wrestling class in every district.
What if it's only a 1-car garage?
Fuck it, cram them in there anyway.
Yeah, fuck it, cram them in there anyway. All right,
That's my campaign slogan.
I just want to, speaking of campaigns, I just want to warn the listeners that we are recording this episode on November 4th of 2020, which is the start of the new era. And we do not know what era that will be yet. So things are a little weird in the old United States of America right now. And if we are acting weird or sounding, well, weirder than normal, I should say, that's why, because I don't think anybody in the country is having a normal one today.
Yeah, we were kind of up in the air whether we'd even be recording today or not, but the murky outcomes mean that we felt okay enough to record. The 40k Badcast, 84 episodes of being okay enough.
It's if you listen to all 83 previous episodes of this podcast and think that we are okay, then I don't know, man. I got to imagine that your experience and perspective in the world is a little skewed because we're pretty twisted over here at the 40k Badcast.
You can't see if I'm doing like the little like punch thing, like I'd be punching you in the side really fast, like
Nice.
yeah.
This one's for the horn dogs.
Ooh, surprise, surprise.
Okay, this one's not really for the horn dogs. Let's get into the aspects
Yeah, sure.
and talk about what's on our hobby radar. And I'll start with a little bit of hobby progress. And I finished those eradicators.
Nice.
Finally. They took a while.
A lot of edges on those boots.
A lot of boots, a lot of edges. I have begun the Blade Guard Veterans.
Hell yeah.
And these models are great. But each one is as detailed as a lieutenant.
it's a squad of 3 characters.
Yeah. And boy, it's going to take me a while to get through these guys. Now, they're a lot more colorful than my usual Marines too. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot. It's a lot. And look, I'm enjoying them though. They look great.
Nice. Are you painting their shields separately?
No.
Oh, you idiot. You absolute fool. You dire doofus.
I was building them and I was like, do I glue these shields on because I want to see what the model looks like, or do I keep them off because it might be easier to paint them? And I said, fuck it. I'm just going to put the shields on. And so I did that for all 6.
Oh, no. Okay, I will say, here's my fucking pro tip for all y'all out there who haven't put these guys together yet.
Yeah.
Is the shields are all more or less on the edges of sprues, so you can cut out basically the whole like square of sprue around it. Maybe you clip off the top bit, and you'll have this like bottom bracing sprue that connects at 2 points on like the V edges, and you can just like kind of brace that and glue that onto a base and paint that wholly separately, and then glue it on after the fact. That's what I did for mine, and it made painting them way easier than it sounds like your experience is.
Or you can just fucking send it, my dude, and slam some fucking shields on some models and paint them, because who gives a fuck?
I mean, here's the thing. It's not like oh no, I might miss this spot, then I'll know. It's like, I won't. It's just, I don't want to have to worry about painting around this man-sized honk of plastic over this larger than man-sized honk of plastic.
I mean, I get what you're saying. And do I regret slapping shields on all my blade guard before I painted them? Absolutely. But am I going to still pretend like everything is okay and just, keep on keeping on? Also, absolutely.
Being okay is the alternative to not being okay, and I will take it in every opportunity I have.
Yeah, these guys are it's not too bad, though. There's like some knee detail that I'm not going to be able to get 100% on a couple of these guys, and I don't give a shit about that. I also don't give a shit about the backs of the shields that much, so not too worried.
Hell yeah.
Okay, I have also built the Primaris Tech Marine.
Oh, nice.
Now, this is a model that I'm very excited to paint whenever I paint him, because he's going to be like red, like that dark red, though, for Tech Marines. Very excited to do some red power armor, because I don't think I've ever done red power armor before.
You've done some, haven't you done red armor for orcs before?
Yes, I've done red armor before, but not red power armor. So looking forward to that. It's a great model, the Primaris Tech Marine, and I did not use the unhelmeted head. I used the helmet head because when I initially saw the model, I was like, this unhelmeted head is fantastic. I want to use that. And then I actually got it in the sprue and the kit, and to me, it's too busy.
That's fair.
It's got
a lot going on.
It's got one of those like bulky sights on the side of its head, and it's just too much, I think. So I used the helmeted head, and I did not use the pistol. I did not pull the pistol because he's making like a claw out of his hand, and you can model the servo claw to be making a matching
gesture.
Shape. Yeah, gesture. And I was like, oh well, I'm doing that.
Of course, you got to do the Tech Marine who's talking with his hands.
So I'm very excited for that. It's a great model. I'm like, I got 2 Blade Guard squads to kick out and an Impulsor. That's my current slate of projects. It's going to take me a couple months. So this guy, he's down the road a little bit.
Nice. No, he'll be a nice change of pace for you too, especially after edging thousands of points worth of black power armor.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've even got more Gravis coming up soon. I've got some more aggressors.
I'm sorry.
No, why?
I thought aggressors were like dog shit now. I mean, we're getting things later, but like their rules are not my fave at the moment.
Well, they lost their double shoot, which sucks. And they didn't have a commensurate reduction in points, which sucks. And I think they also lost their advance and shoot for free.
They did.
Yeah. But for Raven Guard shenanigans, they actually have a pretty good place.
Okay.
You can use the Master of Ambush Warlord trait, which allows you to redeploy an infantry unit and a infantry character. Okay. The Warlord, if he's infantry, he can redeploy too. And your restrictions on that are you just have to be outside of 9 inches of any enemy models and 9 inches of the enemy deployment zone. And you do this after you know who goes first.
Okay.
So
nice.
The idea here is that you can pull back in like an infiltrator or eliminator squad to relative safety. If you were very aggressive with their placing in deployment. I've used that a few times in games. It's very helpful. Or you can slap some aggressors right up the fucking middle, or right up near an objective, and because you're going to get first turn, and you bring the Master of Sanctity with them. And so he gives the rerolls to hit in combat. He gives the +1 to shoot, and he can give the the +2 to charge. also.
Damn. Okay. All right. This is starting to make some sense to me.
So I wanted a unit of 5 aggressors. So I'm going to do 3 more to have 6, but use 5 in games because blast, obviously.
Yeah.
And coherency rules, though I never use units of more than 5, so I'm probably not good at coherency.
Some might say you're incoherent.
Thank you. The idea is that you've got your aggressors, you can use them to be pretty aggressive, or you can use them to go up the middle, hug some cover, and get real hard to shift off an objective. And on their own, they're not that great, and in a lot of other chapters, they're not that great. But because of the particular brand of bullshit that I enjoy, they do kind of kick ass.
Nice. Okay.
So that's aggressors. I was getting shouted down in one of the Discords I'm in about. I was like, "Oh, I still like aggressors," and then like 4 different people called me an idiot, and I was like, "Oh well." I'm not going to explain myself.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm glad you were able to show your work for the audience here so we don't get 1,000 emails adding you.
I'm sure somebody out there is going to be like, oh, aggressors suck. Fuck you, Dan. And that's okay. I'm fine with it.
All right.
I've had worse abuse from our listeners before.
And I assure you that one or both of us have died on worse hills than this.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Hobby progress for you, my friend.
Ooh, quite a bit. Obviously my birthday was pretty recently, so
we should probably say we're recording a week late than normal.
There's
3 weeks in between episodes because my last week, instead of recording, I was just work vortex big time, so just wasn't gonna happen. So sorry the episode's late, gang. But you were saying you've done lots of things with your time these past 3 whatever weeks.
Yeah, aside from just my own animation projects, which I'll get to in the plugs later on, and my own personal work vortex, I have been doing a bit of hobby stuff.
Good.
I got a bunch of stuff a little late for my birthday and so on, so I got that Firestrike servo turret, the Invader ATV, a group of Varangard for my Daves to Darkness, as well as an Ogroid Myrmidon for them, who I'm intending to convert into a Demon Prince. A listener, Jassy, sent me a pair of Demon Prince wings so I can stick them on that model and make a really cool Demon Prince, unlike the regular Demon Prince kit, which is butt. Oh my god, Numi, that sound you just heard was Numi leaping off my wife's computer.
Did she knock anything down?
No, the computer is fairly heavy.
Okay, good.
All right. So aside from just like getting some stuff, I picked up my Marine Codex as well. Did some of the points calculations for that, which is like not that interesting, but whatever, it's administrative shit. But I did finish the last model from my first Indominus set, who is the Blade Guard captain, who I have named First Company Captain Aglio Vongole.
Aglio... What?
Aglio Vongole.
Vongole?
Yeah. His name may or may not mean garlic clams.
I was going to say, Aglio's garlic.
Yeah, he's First Company Captain Garlic Clams.
Delicious.
And salty, just like me.
Oh, man. We have the best podcast.
I think we do. I really like explaining the jokes after I make them, too. It makes them even funnier.
Well, not everybody speaks Italian.
Not everyone speaks the Italian lingua franca here, yeah. I gave him the back banner from the Venerable Dreadnought just so
I saw this guy. I wanted to ask you about this because you went, let's just say, above and beyond when it comes to back banners with old Aglio Vavanglio or whatever his name is.
Aglio Vavanglio. It's all about the Anglio of the Aglio. So the back banner is from the Venerable Dreadnought kit, which, there it is. Ironically looks too small on the Venerable Dreadnought, or Ironclad Dreadnought, I think, but is fucking huge on infantry models.
Yeah.
And when you look back like Rogue Trader models, a lot of the time, especially when you have like conversions from the time, characters have these big fucking back banners like twice as wide as their base. Wow. And I kind of wanted to throw back to that sort of idea. But instead of being made of like tinfoil or whatever, it's, a plastic bit. So I'm pretty stoked with how he came out. I need to take some better pictures of him. I'm not happy with my photo setup as usual. But you know what?
You haven't been happy with your photo setup for Oh, I don't know, like all of time immemorial?
Exactly. So I'm going to keep bitching about it and eventually fix it. I think once I move to Oregon, I'm going to get a more set sort of photo setup, so I don't need to set up and tear down every single time I want to take a picture of anything. Because again, right now my IKEA work light with a daylight bulb and my seasonal affective disorder lamp, the two of those and a piece of printer paper, how I take my pictures, and it's not perfect.
You mention that like every episode, and I love it.
Yeah, in case I forget, I need to remind myself when I re-listen to this, I guess. So aside from him, the second Indominus set I figure is earmarked for my Black Templars, but I'm kind of good at my Ultras for the moment. But I did paint the 16 Iron Golems I got for my birthday, which was a bit of an exercise in exploration, an exercise in joy, and an exercise in frustration. Because first of all, batch painting 16 models at a time is a very bad idea.
Oh, why?
Especially when I didn't do a test model, so all 16 of them are the test model.
Campbell, you're giving me shit about keeping shields on guys, and you're out here fucking batch painting 16 models at a time with a scheme that you don't know?
Exactly.
Oh my God.
So the thing is, my mistakes didn't end there. I just sent you a picture of them so you can.
I know. I'm looking at them.
Yeah, I made the mistake of painting their armor first because that's what I was most exciting about.
Nope.
So then I had to go in like under the armor plates and behind the armor plates to actually paint the skin, because it turns out they've got quite a bit of exposed skin under all that armor.
They're Daves.
They are Daves, and there's no cloth in these guys, so it is just chafing from head to toe. Like it is
God,
the chafe brigade.
I've never worn armor before because 21st century and all that.
Yeah.
And I'm not like a LARPer
or reenactor.
No shade, no hate. It's just not what I do. I have to imagine that wearing metal armor is just about the worst thing.
Yeah, I can also just only imagine the noise. But anyway, this group of 16 is like, they're the chaff. The chafing chaff of the Daves of Darkness. So I'm looking forward to getting to use them in, I think I'm going to get a game in this weekend with Dylan, and I'll be able to finally throw them on the field and see how they do. And with them, I'm up to 200 models painted this year, which makes me pretty stoked.
Awesome, man. That's exciting.
Yeah.
I have no idea how many models I've painted this year. I'll count at some point. I don't know. It's November. It's not December yet.
Yeah.
We're not doing our year in review show yet. Mm-hmm. So get off my case.
Hey, I'm not intending to stay on your case.
So you are on my case.
I'm on the case, like a detective would be.
You're like a gumshoe.
There was a home inspector truck that came by yesterday or the other day. It just said gumshoe home inspectors, and I just like snorted as I was driving out of my house.
Good story. I feel like when I was a child, the word gumshoe was a lot more prevalent in media and in my life. And since my childhood, the word gumshoe has pretty much fallen out of use.
I mean, when the Dick Tracy parodies from Looney Tunes aren't airing on television anymore, I don't really hear the word gumshoe or goon outside of the something awful context said out loud.
Also, quicksand. I feel like when I was a kid, like quicksand was a big problem. And now that I'm an adult, I've literally never encountered quicksand. And I'm not even sure what it is.
The things I was most worried about as a child that have not applied at all are basically quicksand and aliens. The two of those have not factored into my life in any material way. I
heard reports between all the political screeching out there today that some mysterious radio frequencies or light waves that mimic radio waves were detected from somewhere in the galaxy. So
that's cool, man. Bring it on.
It might be aliens sooner than you know.
Well, yeah, they're coming to drink all our moon water.
They're coming back to drink all our moon water, my friend. As you very well know, Mr. Close Encounters over here.
That's true.
Did we talk about that on the regular show, or did we only talk about this in Patreon?
I don't remember, but I've seen UFOs in my time.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see him with you someday. Anyways,
I can only hope.
Did you play any games?
I did.
Oh my God! Wow.
Hey, Numi. I got a game in with Dylan. I played with my Dave's of Darkness versus his dwarfs at his place.
Love that guy.
We got to play on his patio this time.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. Well, he just moved, and his new place has a really big, nice patio. We were able to lay out a game and get a good AOS round in.
All right.
Basically, it was like four objectives, 2 in the middle, 1 on each side. It's just kind of the scenario we've basically just been playing for most of quarantine because it's so easy to play. And like, your enemy's objective is worth more points to you. The middle objectives are worth more points than your home objective, etc. Basically, the first 2 turns, Numi, what the fuck are you doing? This cat is going insane.
Is she making you say basically this much?
She's distracting me, which is causing my brain to reset, and that lets me go to basically, and whomst. Those are my brain still buffering words. Do include any whomst.
I need to make an any whomst fucking sound.
Thing is, I don't want you to make an any whomst button for me because I generally love saying that word, and I don't want to feel self-conscious about it. Like with, I don't know. I can't organically lead back into it's Ben, so just hit the fucking button.
Yes.
There you go.
There it is. I knew what you were going for.
Yeah. All right. So this game, the first 2 rounds or so, dwarfs are really fast now. Like they get to run up really fast. So
that doesn't make any sense.
Well, they're natural sprinters, which is why they only have extra boon for the first turn. So the first turn, he just runs onto these objectives, and he has these big bricks of like 30 dwarfs with 3 up saves, or in some cases 2 up saves in the first turn, which
that's the best save.
Yeah, it is actually the best save, and it is wild and hard to get through. And he takes that center of the board and just starts racking up points. Like the first 2 rounds, he gets like 15 points. Mm-hmm. And then on the second half of turn 3, I finally get off that glorious cavalry charge that I've been hoping to get since I started playing Age of Sigmar like 3 years ago.
Yeah, and?
I lumped on a group of Chaos Knights. When they charge, they already have like 2 damage, rend 2, hit on 3s, wound on 4s or whatever. Then I got like all the rerolls on them for like real charge distance, reroll damage, +1s, like all sorts of shit, like 2 or 3 layered up abilities, and they just bulldoze a unit of those like 2 up save dwarfs and iron breakers who are normally really hard to take out. Yeah, and be able to like wear him down, and
they break iron.
Yeah, they do. Oh, this time the iron breakers broke.
Yes.
I was able to just like take the flanks, and after those knights like stuck in there, they were able to like retreat and take his home objective and overpower his artillery and rack up more points. And it was like so fucking close. The game ended on turn 5, 24-22 with me up. Whoa. And it was probably the best game, like the closest and hardest fought game I've had all pandemic, and one of the better Age of Sigmar games I've played. Like it felt like kind of the first time I played my Days of Darkness correctly, where I knew how to use abilities and spells in conjunction, knew when to retreat from combat, when to engage, and on top of that, my saves were just good because there's a lot of abilities to reroll saves or get bonuses to saves with this army.
Yeah,
and I just felt like I played a damn good game, and it was a ton of fun slamming some hands with Dylan.
Well, I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah, thank you. How about you?
Yeah, I got a game in. My friend Chris came by. He's one of my Necromunda players. Mm-hmm. He's unfortunately going to be moving soon, so he wanted to get a game in. And he brought his AdMech, and we did some porch hammer.
Nice.
Out on the back porch there. My Raven Guard, his AdMech, and Chris is a great guy, absolutely lovely human. Just very, very lucky to know him, and that he's in my life. And I think you know what comes next.
The better the person is, the worse you dumpster them.
Unfortunately, the game was pretty one-sided.
Oh,
which is, it's still a good time though. He's a great guy. I think he had a good time. I hope he had a good time.
Might want to check. Maybe that's why he's moving.
Well, the Marines are tough, dude. They're real fucking tough.
Yeah, they're real good right now.
And there's, it's just hard, when like the infantry you're going up against, the Skitarii, when they fold to a stiff breeze, it's just like it's hard for them to stay on objectives when it's like, oh, here's some aggressors. And, your Skitarii are in cover. That's cool. So my aggressors are just going to shoot at them. And, oh, look, they're all dead. What do you know?
How about that?
So yeah, it was a little bit of a tough time for the AdMech there, but you know, it was a good time.
All right.
I like that guy.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about new stuff. Not a whole lot.
Yeah, there was a preview a couple weeks ago. I don't really want to get too in the weeds about it, but they did show off the new Blood Bowl box set, which I'm like, okay, I've seen a lot of stuff and it's pretty cool. But there's a dwarf and elf ref in there.
Oh yeah.
And the first thing I thought was, never thought I'd die reffing side by side with an elf.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one. That's a Lord of the Rings quote.
That it is, but adjusted slightly. They also showed off a dire chasm for Warhammer Underpants, or as I call it, Bad Hole. And again, the muscle daddies look great in that set. Even if the elf yoga wizard has got really bad form, you don't want your foot to actually be on the knee joint because you can push your knee out and actually hurt yourself. So, fucking elf posers over here.
Posers.
Posers.
No, because it's
I get it's yoga pose too,
poses,
but also your fucking mid-Atlantic accent.
Oh, do I need to throw in?
Fuck you, Baltimore.
You do. I think you actually kind of need that to be more or less on loop, fairly quiet throughout most of the time when you're talking.
Well, fairly quiet and the "fuck you, Baltimore" button do not mix.
Yeah, there's not a gentle "fuck you, Baltimore."
Yeah. So the preview happened. I'm pretty excited about Blood Bowl, but you know, we don't have to talk about that just yet.
We can talk about it once you get your hands on it.
Yeah. I'm very excited for it, though.
Yeah. They shoved, now they're doing combat patrol boxes instead of just your start collecting boxes, which seem like they're a little more expensive, but they're actual fieldable collections that actually have like a general point value they're aiming for. So I kind of like that direction they're going in, even if they cost a little bit more.
Yeah.
That, at the very least, means you might be able to get some Invictor tactical war suits for cheap in the future.
Ooh.
Because I think they're in the Space Wolves one.
I have two of them.
Time to get a third. It's not rule of two, my friend.
Yeah, I don't really think I need too many Invictors right now.
Okay.
I've got two. I'm not going to get another one. I don't even have any of them painted. Oh, geez, painting that thing, that's going to be a fucking.
Oh, no, it's not bad. It's not bad at all.
It's not bad? Okay.
You just leave the pilot out, leave the front cage off and the bit that attaches the cage on top.
That is something that I will do sub-assemblies for.
Yeah, it's honestly not bad.
Unlike my fucking Blade Guard.
I'd say doing Blade Guard and sub-assemblies versus doing the Invictor and sub-assemblies is an order of magnitude different.
Okay. Well, Space Wolves and Deathwing, they got new books, new supplements.
Watch. Other Death guys.
Oh, yeah, Death Watch, whatever. I get it confused. I thought they were Dark Angels at first. I think we went over with this. Space Wolves and Death Watch go on sale this weekend, the supplements. So all of our Space Wolves friends and I know one Death Watch player, and he doesn't even paint his Marines like Death Watch. It's Kevin.
Yeah.
He paints them. He actually has a really good scheme. It's like this bone color and purple. Mm-hmm. They're called the Regal Skulls. It's a very good scheme, but he does not paint them. He does not paint black power armor, which is probably
smart.
Goes to show how smart he is. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty exciting, I think. New supplements. I like the way this is working, that Space Wolves and Death Watch don't get their own whole codex. They get a codex supplement, and they get to pull from the rest of the Space Marine range. It finally is making sense.
Yeah, they got it right in 3rd edition, and it took them 6 editions to get it right again. But I'm a big fan of that sort of thing. Like, you don't need to have 35 different war data sheets for a Rhino or whatever. Like, just stick to the things that matter.
Right.
But hey, now Space Wolves are getting a new unit, the Fangs of Mordkai, that totally aren't just Reavers painted a different color.
It's the Hounds of Mordkai, and they are Reavers painted a different color with the Space Wolf Primaris upgrade kit.
That is true. And they have anti-psyker abilities, though, so they actually have a usable niche. I'm not going to comment on the rules too hard, but Reavers having a usable niche is new.
My fear with the Hounds of Mordkai are that they're still Reavers. And that'll only get you so far.
Yep.
That and a couple bucks will get you a cup of coffee, right?
Right. Aside from that, they showed off the new Bugman's model, Jacob Bugmanson, the 11th.
Oh, yeah, that thing fucking rips, though.
Yeah,
I know you're chuckling over there, but I'm a fan.
Oh, dude, I'm not complaining about the model. I actually think it makes sense in universe for him to be a Caradron, since they're kind of like the I don't want to say traveling salesman of the Age of Sigmar setting, but they're, they go around, they're commerce focused. So it makes sense that he'd be, flying around with a giant keg on his back, distributing his like hyper beer or whatever. I think the model's super fun. I don't have any reason to pick it up aside from the fact that it's a cool model. So I probably won't, but I'm happy they're, bringing him back into the fold and that he's not just like, oh no, Joseph Bugman got teleported into this wild place. Like, no, his family has apparently been continuing for generations while, the Warhammer World setting exploded.
Love me some Bugman. There's Joseph Bugman is in Blood Bowl.
Yeah, he is.
He's a coach and a player. He's actually got some pretty interesting rules. I've never used him yet, but he's got some fun stuff going on.
Nice.
There's a new Necromunda character, Dr. Arachnos.
Oh, yeah. I think we talked about him a few weeks ago, but now we can actually... I think we talked about him when they showed him off initially, but now you can see like the 360 of him and buy him and stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty tight. It's a pretty cool model.
Again, the Necromunda models...
he's like mini Fabius Bile.
He's like a Fabius Bile cosplayer.
He's like Fabius... He's bite-sized Bile. Do we like that? Do we like that?
I'm pretty good with bite-sized Bile. That's pretty all right.
Okay.
I'm glad we could workshop this.
All right, cool. Let us know, listeners. Contact at 40kbadcast.com. All right, and then there's a bunch of AI stuff, some new ground placements in resin, and then the complete hell that is the Orc Mega Bomber because it comes in 61 parts.
Of resin.
Yes.
Yeah, not...
And that one seems like kind of a pain in the ass to deal with.
If you were to put a 64-piece AI scale model on my desk, or on one side of my desk, and that fucking Marauder Destroyer with no instructions on the other side of my desk, I'd go the full-size Marauder Destroyer. I would go for that full-size Marauder Destroyer.
Yeah. What is it? The... we did get fucking yelled at for the Gom Jabbar last show, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
The Gom Jabbar is the thing that's in the pain box. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, fine. We got the Gom Jabbar wrong. I was going to say on one side you have 64 pieces of Aeronautica sized resin and the other you have the Gom Jabbar. What are you choosing? What are you putting your hand in?
You can firmly call me a Gom Jabroni because I know what I'm going for.
Hell yeah. All right. That's it for new stuff. Let's move on. Let's make a call.
Sure.
Hey, gang, it's me, your boy Deezy, cutting in to the Badcast. We never do this. This is new ground. Okay, I'm cutting in here after we have spent a couple minutes on how terrible the Orc Mega Bomber kit is and how neither of us want to have one or try to make one to say, well, it's not Gom Jabbar time for Chaboy. It's Orc Mega Bomber time because so we do this thing on one of our Discords, Secret Santa. As many of you all know, that's when you buy presents for somebody and everybody gets a present and it's great. Well, our good friend and webmaster over at Goonhammer, Greg, he got me for a Secret Santa and he bought me an Orc Mega Bomber. So now I have one and I get to be the idiot that has to take a fucking toothbrush and some soapy water and clean every single one of those parts. Oh God, I hate it already. I looked in the box, gang. Oh, the fucking instruction booklet is so rough. So thanks, Craig, but also fuck you, dude. All right, back to the show. All right, this one is from Cameron Edwards via email. Cameron says, hey guys, I'll try to be as brief as possible with mixed success. But a few members of my game group and I, sorry, Cameron, Jesus. Thank you for writing in. Sorry. A few members of my game group and I had a question for you. Recently, we have accepted a few new members into our 40k group. All of them are great, except for one. One of the new members in question got his brother-in-law into the game recently. He's a young kid, still in high school, and in our time playing against him, we have caught him lying about his dice rolls, not following the rules in regards to making detachments, and also bringing several hundred more points to games than what was agreed upon. We have discussed this among the more senior members of the group, talked to the new member that introduced him to the game about it, and also spoken to the guy on an individual basis, but he continues to do these things. Our question is, how do we finally fix this problem or ask this person to leave our gaming group without losing the friend that brought him around in the first place? Thank you. Feel free to paraphrase this email if you need to. Well, Cameron, I didn't.
Yeah, Dan gave us the unabridged experience here. So I think in a case like this, being confrontational is not what nerds are really good at, speaking from experience. But I feel like this is the case where I'd just be like, dude, what are you trying to accomplish here? Like, why are you doing this? And invariably, the guy would be like, oh, I'm not, it was a mistake, or, they deny it. And that's when you just depress them and be like, no, we know you're doing this. We know you've been doing this. Why are you doing this? And you might get an answer out of them. And the answer might be that they just can't stand the thought of losing, or they have something else in their life going on, and this gives them a modicum of control. Like, I don't know their situation. They might not be doing great. They might just be a jackass. Like, either are perfectly possible. Both are perfectly possible. But whenever I've had cheaters in groups, like, it's actually been one of my regrets that I didn't really confront them at the time. The last person I played with who was a regular, cheater and liar, I cut him out of my life after he said some really racist shit. And I basically said, like, I'm not interested in talking with you, and blocked his number, and that was that. But he wasn't tied to any groups I actually give a shit about. In fact, by cutting him out, I didn't have to go to his group anymore. So that was even better.
Hey.
In this case where you want to keep your actual friend and the other people around, I think you have to make it clear to your friend who introduced this jackass into your group why you feel the way you do and why you think this person's behavior is unacceptable and what you're planning on doing. Because, like, if you just start, like, name calling this, the problem person here, if you start, like, calling them names and insulting them and so on, and, like, going after with personal attacks, you're not actually going to get anything out of it. You're just going to make them agitated, and if anything, make them entrench their behavior. You might get rid of them, but that's not really the best way to go about doing it. So I would say just talk to your friend and just say, like, hey, I'm going to confront him. I'm tired of this shit. And you have to make it clear to this person that if they keep doing this, they're not going to get games. And you don't want to entertain their bullshit anymore. Because, like a 40k game is an hours-long commitment. And to know that your time is being spent unfairly, or you're just signing yourself up for 3 hours of misery, is not worth doing. So
yeah.
you should only play with people you want to play with, outside of, a tournament or whatever, where you don't necessarily have the control over that. But you should only play with people you want to play with, and you should make clear to this person that you don't want to play with them if they're going to keep doing what they're doing.
Yep. I mean, I support that. I would not even close to be as nice about it as you would be, Campbell, because you're a very nice person, and I am an unfeeling hunk of stone.
You are right. You are a hunk.
Hey, I wouldn't play this guy. I just straight up wouldn't play him.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
If, like, I came to the group, the game night, and he was there, and it was like only him and I, and he's like, yeah, I'm looking for a game. You want to play? I'd be like, nah, dude, you cheat.
I mean,
and I ain't wasting my time on you. And then, maybe he would change, but it wouldn't matter because I just wouldn't play him.
Yeah, and again, some people won't change. God, in my old Torko days, there was one person in the group who wasn't necessarily many people's favorite person to play against, and another person in the group who was just like, hey, I'm looking for a game. And this, let's just call him problem person, was like, hey, I'll play you. And the other guy just says, no, thank you. Anyone else?
Yep,
and
I've done it.
Yeah.
I've done it. Like, I mean, it's not good.
It's not necessarily the kind of social behavior.
Fun.
It's not necessarily the best social behavior, but, like, you don't want to make yourself miserable for a few hours. Because the thing is, if you're making yourself miserable for a few hours, you're probably making the other person pretty unhappy too. And if your misery makes them happy, then they are not the kind of person you want to spend time with.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to our first segment. Mm-hmm. And this is brought to you by one Campbell McLaughlin, who I'm going to ask to tee up this segment because this is one of those ones where you shout it out, and I'm just like, all right, man. Okay.
Yeah, this is another, like, I had to insist this wasn't just a Campbell's prepared puns segment. Because a lot of time when I throw down a really dumb idea, it is.
Yeah.
So today we are doing a segment called Fast Food 40K. So fast food is something that we're all familiar with, especially in the the sort of Western world, and is more or less a staple of modern living. And like most things in the 40K setting, like they're going to have some equivalent. There's going to be some grimdark reflection of what we have now, some meta commentary, some satirical take on it. And you got to think, like, people in the 41st millennium, they still got to eat. There's agri worlds, there's hive worlds, there's bajillions of people. So it's well documented that people are eating low quality junk, including, human remains. So what are they feeding themselves? What are they, after soccer practice, where are they taking the kids? Where are they stopping for their on their grimdark Dunkin' run? Like, what are they doing? What fast food franchises might even still exist in the 41st millennium?
That's a good question right there.
Yeah, who's gonna win the fast food wars?
The restaurant wars.
That's it.
If we're quoting Demolition Man,
right? Which
we always should be.
We always should be.
Yeah. So, like you said, people eat bad things in the 41st millennium. Corpse starch, of course, is, I think, the most widely distributed and most commonly found foodstuff in any 40K setting, because it's people.
Yeah. And that's the one resource that's readily available.
Reconstituted protein, people who have been ground up and cooked down.
Exactly.
Delicious.
And the thing is, that can kind of slot into more like, I don't think it's necessarily always consistent how corpse starch is portrayed as a foodstuff. Because, like, if it's a starch, I think, like, okay, so you have corpse starch hash browns, which means, essentially you can have a Denny's, which probably wouldn't be demonstrably worse in this sort of setting, but you could have your corpse starch hash browns, you could have your grok sausage. There's some megafauna that are laying giant eggs, I'm sure. I mean,
I just want to point out real quick that, and I'm sorry,
it's okay,
because this is a little bit of a derail, but if corpse starch was as prevalent as the rule books and the lore books would lead you to believe, everybody in Necromunda would have kuru. Do you know what kuru is?
I don't know what that is.
It's you get it from eating people. It was found originally in Papua New Guinea, where they're cannibals, and it is a degenerative neurodegenerative, whatever that word is, disease that you get from eating these protein fragments that get in your brain, and they stop your brain from working.
Well, then.
One of the first things that happens is shaking. Is like your hands shake terribly, and then your muscles stop working. It's that's what happens when you eat people.
Cool. Well, I guess it's good that no one on Necromunda lives past 30 anyway.
It's funny to me that they must have figured out some way to stop the spread of these protein fragments. They're called prions. But that's what caused mad cow disease too.
Okay. Well, the thing is, I don't think there really is an FDA or equivalent in the 41st millennium.
Well, there's the administratum and the munitorum.
That's just going to be a dude blessing the corpse starch as it rolls off the assembly line, just going
that's the ministorum.
Oh, yep. Not the munitorum.
No, the munitorum is weapons for the guard. It's the administratum who are going to be the ones who oversee the food production. Campbell, come on, get on my level.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm sorry, lore master. I'll keep that in mind.
I'm 100% wrong about that. I'm going to get emails.
That's fine. That's fine. We'll save it for the next Adepticon trivia in 2025. Corpse starch is fucking everywhere, but it can't be the only thing people are eating. Nutritionally, it can't. I don't know if you've ever seen, any model that isn't wearing a shirt, but they're fucking cut. So they're having some sort of protein that isn't just people dust. So you figure groks are domesticated and used for food all over the Imperium. This has been written about in fucking every book Dan Abbott's ever written.
What is a grox?
A grox is basically a big lizard cow.
It's a lizard.
Yeah, it's a big, aggressive, domesticated lizard.
Oh, if it's aggressive, how domesticated can it be?
I guess in the same way a bull could be domesticated.
Oh,
Like
oh.
it can still gore you, but you can still eat it.
I mean, like the bulls that they use in a lot of this bull stuff, they torture before they do it.
I know. I'm not going to go over the ethics of fucking bullfighting. I'm not defending that by any stretch of imagination.
Rodeo is bad because they tie the rodeo rope to the bull's testicles, so it really, really fucking hurts them, which is why they're so mad.
Christ.
Bet you didn't know that.
I didn't know that. The problem is my insensitive brain just went to, it's like, well, in 40k saloons, I bet there's a mechanical bull with a brain slaved to it or whatever.
I mean, there probably is.
There's probably it's like, yes, my brain is being kept alive in perpetuity to be a fucking mechanical bull at a dive bar. What a way to go. So I figure like Grox is already like, it's widespread. It's eaten all over the Imperium.
You bailed from that joke so quick. I got saying it. That joke is screaming down the highway at 60 miles an hour, and you're saying it as you're opening the door and like setting the fucking steering wheel up and about to roll out.
I'm just getting bucked off my own mechanical bull joke. So you figure Grox is going to be kind of like it's the regular meat. So you're going to have that for essentially burgers. You're going to have that like because sandwiches are the like there's a restaurant near me that advertises having like shakes, omelettes, and bourgeois. Which makes me want to open a burger restaurant called the Bourgeoisie. Don't steal my idea, would-be franchisers.
TM.
So Americans alone eat 300 million sandwiches a day, and you figure because it's such a mutable and portable food that it's going to like survive in some capacity.
That's one sandwich for every American.
I know, which means some people are eating multiple sandwiches a day.
I did not eat a sandwich today.
I didn't either, so I'm going to make up for it tomorrow by eating two. But it's such a mutable and portable food, like because it's so friendly to people on the go, whether that's people working or just people who need to be places. That
as we all know, in 40k, everybody's on the go always.
Yeah, mostly towards shuffling off their mortal coil, but they're still going places and working places. So you figure you're going to have these sort of burgers of some sort, whether it's like a McDonald's situation or a Five Guys situation. And let's be honest,
Morkdonald's,
and what do we got for Five Guys instead? And we'll edit in post. So you figure Grox is probably too high quality for a lot of these people, or not as widespread as people think they are. So probably most of the burgers are going to be made of like ground rats or ground hyperpossum or whatever the fuck sort of rodents.
Yeah, but the rats are like real big and can kill you. Which so it's kind of
but the rats are real big, which means you can make a lot of sandwiches out of them.
They got big guts,
and they are huge. They do have huge guts. Which means there's probably rat haggis too. But I feel like every burger...
Haggis?
We'll work on it.
Okay.
We'll work on it. I feel like every burger bun is going to be stamped with like the Imperial Aquila, like umami burger.
Yes.
Like these are sanctified burgers.
Oh, I love that. All right, so I guess Morkdonald's isn't really an imperial restaurant.
No,
it's more of an orc restaurant.
Yeah, that would actually any Morkdonald's franchise would be closed down not by like the health inspector, but by the Death Watch,
the Inquisition.
Yeah, exterminatus on this restaurant.
Oh, Burger Squigs.
Ooh, Burger Squigs. Didn't we talk about Burger Squigs before? Where they're squigs that just come out fully formed as burgers?
This is the 84th episode of this. We've
definitely talked about something this
Campbell.
stupid before.
I'm sure we've covered this ground.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we got lunch covered. But let's get back to breakfast real quick.
What did you have for breakfast today?
Today for breakfast, I went on a Dunkin' run. I had iced coffee and candy because I'm an adult.
What do you put in your coffee?
If I make it at home, nothing. If I go to Dunkin' Donuts, cream, because it's garbage coffee and cream makes it drinkable.
Okay.
So the thing is, like, coffee has been proven to like increase productivity and alertness. That's why every workplace supplies their workers with coffee, usually for free, to ensure they stay awake and productive. And the 40k universe, like, you are productive unto death. Like, you work 16 hours, you sleep 8 hours, you work again, and you keep doing that till you die.
They have a coffee analog.
Yeah, recaf. Everybody drinks it, from guardsmen to inquisitors, and there's got to be like, they're not drinking the same stuff. Like, inquisitors are probably drinking like coffee beans that are just have been like, I don't know, shit out by a coffee squig or whatever that makes them taste better, while your average guardsman. A coffee swig, it just looks like a carafe, but with like a nose, like a big nose snoot sticking out, and you just pump its head and coffee comes out, I'm sure. But there's going to be some shitty coffee franchise around for your average Imperial citizen. And I feel like this is your chance to really have that like cargo culted sort of thing. Like Dunkin' Donuts itself did not survive, but there's going to be like in that like sly Warhammer writer sort of way, it's going to be something named something very similar. And it's going to be called like Dunkin' Donuts, but spelled like the name Duncan. And it's going to be named for some like long ago noble who developed the STC for donuts and who's like Sir Duncan of House Donut.
Donut. I think people are going to be going to Starborks.
That's nothing.
No, it's like McDonald's. You just put orc in there. Starbork.
Storkborks. Who don't want to go to Storkborks to have a cork fee?
Starborks. Come on, man. This is good shit.
It certainly is shit. But, the thing is, I also feel like the Starbucks brand, Astartes Bucks. Sure, there we go.
I like Starborks more.
Astartes Borks. There, let's just fucking bury it. They're probably too like high quality for your average Imperial citizen. Like they're too expensive. Like it's got to be like the real like gas station level, like watered down room temperature recaf with dry stale bread rings or whatever.
Okay.
So we got breakfast. I also talked about Denny's in there. We got like your average sort of ground meat, which is going to be, honestly, most things. I can't imagine it's possible to really be vegan unless you're like an Eldar living on a maiden world or whatever.
Yeah. So
we can kind of figure out dinners kind of in that sort of lunch zone. But there's one meal left.
Is corpse starch vegan?
The same way ghost meat is, I guess.
Okay.
No, it's emphatically not vegan. It's also not grass-fed. So we got breakfast, we got lunch, we got dinner more or less figured out. There's still one meal left, though.
I know what you're going to say.
That, mi amigo, is fourth meal. So,
hell yeah.
To go back to that real demolition.
Why do we always talk about food on our fucking podcast that we record before dinner?
Because I feed on your pain. That's why.
I hate this.
I love this because, you know how I said this isn't Campbell's prepared pun segment? Well, what do you know? I fucking Trojan horsed that in here because...
Whatever. I came up with the completely amazing gems of McDonald's and Starborks.
One of us definitely had longer to prepare for this segment than the other. So the thing is, you know the Bell of Lost Souls? It's actually the last Taco Bell in location in the cosmos.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
The Emperor was definitely an undying example of that live Moss mentality. And resultantly, the Taco Bell of Lost Souls is the finest restaurant on Terra, reserved only for the High Lords.
Hell yeah, dude. I feel like it's like a retro Taco Bell, too.
It's like a 90s one where it's still like the purple plastic.
Yes.
I mean, that's got to be downright palatial to your average Imperial citizen. Like, there's 7-foot ceilings in here and acoustic tile?
Dude, how much fucking Baja Blast do you think it took the Emperor to get through to make the Primarchs?
I mean, don't you know that 100 gallons of Baja Blast are sacrificed to the Emperor every single day to keep him alive?
Oh, delicious. Sounds like a couple of college roommates I had.
Well, he's similarly chemically that's what's actually chemically preserving him is the nearly veritable ocean of Baja Blast he has slurped up over his entire time alive. Which means there's got to be a Baja Blast world that just ships off like massive tanker ships of Baja Blast back to Terra.
I want to find that world.
Well, the thing is, of course, those Baja Blast shipments have to be taken in somewhere, probably orbitally, which is where they're scanned and made sure they're pure and safe for the Emperor's consumption, which is where you come to the orbital defense array around Terra, the Baja Blaster, which is flying over modern-day Mexicali.
Oh, my God. Okay. I hate it. Do you want me to do my orc joke for Taco Bell?
I wish you would.
Torko Bell.
Yokiro Torko Borko.
Okay. Okay. That's enough of that.
That's borderline too much. I would say I'm stuffed.
Oh wow! All right, let's move on, listeners. If you have something against Space Marines, this is the time for you to stop listening to the podcast because we're going to talk about Space Marines for a while. We're both Marine players, and a new codex for our Marines came out, and we are, I would say, just a little excited.
I'd say I'd be excited to play it if people around me were playing 40k right now, but I'm excited about the codex and what it means for codices coming out down the line and so on.
Thank you. We are using codices here
because it's the actual word
on the 40k Badcast. That is official office policy. Mm-hmm. Just like how Torko Bell caters
all of our fourth meals.
Yes. Okay. So, new Marine book. Now, there's a lot to be excited about this, but you mentioned something interesting that I want to get to first, and it's the formatting of the book itself.
Yeah. So this is the thing that actually excites me the most because the formatting of this is really logical and reasonable and actually divided into bespoke sections. Like, of course, before there's been like, okay, this is the fluff section. Here's the painted models. Here's the rules. But here there's tabs inside of the page that let you know like what section you're in. And the writing overall is like that more verbose but precise style that the 9th Ed rulebook is. It follows It follows the same sort of like formatting and layout and graphic design of the main rulebook, which is not to be surprised, but I'm happy to see because it does mean like everything is very logically laid out, and you have not necessarily your 7th edition style universal special rules pages, but like at the start of the army selection pages, it's like, okay, here's your 2 pages with all of your army special rules, and every unit just refers to those for the things that show up on every single data slate. So you don't have the fucking definition for Deep Strike or a Nation on Fear reprinted on every single guy, because there's 98 fucking data slates in this book, so it's good to kind of reduce that.
Gotta call them data sheets, bud.
War scrolls. Eat my ass.
Nope. You got it. Hey, we just made a point to say codices. All right, let's have a little bit of consistency.
Is it data slate? Is that the actual one?
Data sheet.
Data slates are an old one. I'll have you know in my notes they're used interchangeably.
Yeah, well, we've already heard about how terrible your notes are.
They're very bad. I think there's only 2 fonts this week.
It's a light week over there.
Yeah, I know, really paring
household.
Really paring it back.
Wow.
But the thing is, there's the universal special, army special rules at the beginning, and then you've got like not just the stratagem section, where the stratagems are definitely like a little bit more logical. Like the layout's a lot nicer and a little more concise, even though there's just as many stratagems, they aren't taking up quite as much space. But you also have at the back like 2 pages. Here's all the points. So you don't need to keep like flipping back like, oh, tactical marine is 15, heavy weapons are 5 or whatever. Hello?
It's amazing. Oh, yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
Not only that, I feel like this book is extremely readable in the way that they present everything. If you look at the 8th edition codices, there's a lot of shit on the page.
Yeah.
Always, right? And so a lot of the cool stuff gets lost. But with these data sheets, like there's little art highlights all around them. You can see them because your eyes aren't just completely destroyed by all the shit that's going on the page.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the thing is, every one of those data sheets, that's it. They look like the Age of Sigmar ones, which isn't really a surprise, but having like that little picture with a picture of the model, and then under it, actually, they usually picture all the weapon options, which I really liked, because if you're just the average person who got like, let's say the sprue of the new Eradicators, like I don't know what the fucking heavy melter rifle looks like. I can assume, but I don't know. So it's nice to have that sort of visual reference there.
Yeah.
I also, going back to that point system, I really like how pared down it is. Like it's simplified and bringing things kind of closer to the Age of Sigmar point system. So like when you build like a intercessor squad, instead of seeing like intercessor 15 points, bolt rifle 0 points, why? It's all just baked in. Like extra options are added on, but everything that's default, and even, which could be in the case of like a dreadnought, an assault cannon and a power fist.
Yeah, the Redemptor Dreadnought. We can take a look at this because I was just looking at this the other day. The Redemptor Dreadnought, it says unit size 1, unit cost 175 points. And then you have 2 options: Icarus rocket pod +5, Onslaught Gatling cannon +5. There's no like macroplasma incinerator, which is 0. It's baked in. Or heavy Onslaught Gatling cannon. It's baked in. Heavy flamer, if you take that, it's baked in.
Yeah, it's
the storm bolter or the frag launchers, baked in.
Yeah, we baked it in there.
We baked it in.
We put the.
So I like that. It just gives you the points that stuff costs. If stuff is free, it's not listed, and I like it.
Yeah, I really like that, especially with things like the let's just say the repulsor with its frankly insane number of guns. Or if you total up the points, I think at one point it'd be like repulsor 230 points, storm bolter 2 points, storm bolter 2 point, frag launcher 2 points, Icarus heavy whatever 5 points. Like it's just
too many.
It's all this shit that isn't necessary, and that just sloops it down. I know.
Sloops.
Yeah, it does. You missed me doing whatever the sloop motion is, which I'll let you imagine.
Sloop buddy, sloop buddy, sloop buddy, buddy.
Hell yeah. But yeah, it's like that is just such a nice thing. And at the end, there's even a glossary that points you back to things.
Yeah.
And I think that the points cost pages also have like the page number for where that unit is. And again, a lot of these seem like really little things, and even in a lot of cases, very logical things that you're kind of like, oh, that wasn't there before, but it's just a huge boost in readability that I think is really necessary considering how complex this game is. Like we talk about how much simpler it is than it used to be. In a lot of ways it is, in a lot of ways it is about the same, but this helps make that more digestible, especially if you're a new player. And I'm looking forward to seeing how this gets reflected in further codices, because having those bespoke sections too just means you can really easily turn to them. They're not scattered all over the place, and hopefully they stay consistent. The only thing that really confused me were some of their rules before, like smoke launchers, instead of being a unit ability, is now a keyword, and some different stratagems play off that, because a lot of things about this book feel very similar, but it's a lot of little changes that cascade to be something much bigger.
Yeah, I think it's good though, the formatting. I think that they've hit on a design system that really works.
Yeah, I agree. I think I also really like, it doesn't feel like it's as art heavy as previous books are. Like it feels a little more wordy, which bums me out a little bit, because I also didn't see a whole ton of new art either, but it does have another one of those big 2-page narrative spreads that kind of illustrate what various units in the army do, which I like those. I think they're really neat. I think it's a cool way to kind of get, sucked into it's without reading like a whole Black Library novel, just kind of understanding what this army's about. And
I just found some new art.
Yeah, there is new art in there. I'm not saying there isn't. Like actually that spread has that really cool piece where there's like an Ultramarines army after a battle and a downed Chaos Titan, and the story correlates to that, and it's really cool. And it actually shows like Marines dying, which is good to kind of help a reader temper their expectations of how these guys are going to be in the battlefield.
So let's talk about the rules a little bit.
All right.
And from a competitive standpoint, this book was a side grade to a gentle downgrade of Space Marine power in the past.
Okay.
A lot of builds are no longer viable. I'm looking at you, Thunderfire Cannons. And the Chapter Master situation got changed big time. So a lot of people aren't so happy about that. And then there's some new restrictions in there, like each detachment can only have 1 captain and 2 lieutenants. You can't throw 3 captains into the same detachment anymore.
I like a lot.
Which makes sense. That's fluff, baby.
Yeah.
That is background affecting rules, and here at the 40k Badcast, we're all about it.
Yeah, and that's not just because I don't like seeing 3 Smash captains in every list or whatever the fuck the meta build of the day is. It's just it never made sense to me, like logically. Yeah. So if you want to, you can bring a second detachment, but you're paying for it.
I want to talk about some changes to existing units that have got us excited. And I'm going to start. Eliminators, my snipey boys, go to base ballistic skill of 2+.
I noticed there's a lot of these in this book.
That's like my favorite unit. They're not honestly, they're not the best on the. They also went up from like 75 points or 72 points to 90 points. Mm-hmm. So, kind of a big bump in points. But I don't care. I bring 2 units just about every game because when they pick up a character, especially if they do it on the first turn, oh my god, it's the greatest thing.
I mean,
it's just so great when it's like, oh, you see that lieutenant over there, and he's dead.
For whatever reason with Eliminators, I always miss 2 out of 3 shots every time. So now I'm looking forward to hitting with 2 out of 3 shots every time with a BS2. I don't know why the math just ends up that way. That's just how it is when I use them. But
I was very, very happy to see that. It's a good unit. I like those Eliminators.
Mm-hmm. I love the new chapter command rules. I think they're really neat. I think.
Oh yes. Should we talk about these a little bit?
Yeah,
yes, we absolutely should.
I think so because it's something that I hope is represented in future codices.
So chapter command works like this. You can buy your characters for your list, whatever, and then you can buy them upgrades with points or power level. For instance, if you take a captain, he's got a base points. I think the Primaris captain is like 95 points base. If you pay 40 more points or 2 more power level, you can make them a chapter master, and that upgrades their aura abilities. Well, actually, it adds a second ability to the data sheet, where a captain has the reroll 1s ability for core. We haven't even talked about core yet.
We'll get to it.
The chapter master can pick a core unit within 6 inches, and that unit can reroll all hits instead of just 1s. So it used to be chapter master aura was a 6-inch aura of reroll all hits, which was pretty good.
Yeah, really good.
But they're still good because they still have the reroll 1s, and they have the pick a unit, and that unit can reroll all hits.
Yeah.
And it's points that you can do this, not command points anymore.
Yeah.
But that's not all, Campbell. You can do it with the chaplains. You can turn a chaplain into a master of sanctity, which I do pretty much every game. I think if you're for me at least, the master of sanctity is almost an auto include, just because it's the 2 litanies, because he can do 2 litanies, and then there's a stratagem called wise, there's a stratagem that lets you for 2 CP throw a litany on that's not on, that the chaplain knows, so you can get 3 per turn.
Damn.
With the chaplain, which is real fucking strong.
Yeah.
So I love that. That's like I think that's 25 points, 20 or 25 points on top of the chaplain cost. There's the Master Apothecary, so you can upgrade an apothecary. 8th edition, Space Marine Apothecaries, useless. Nobody took them.
Damn close
I painted
to it,
mine. I painted mine. I love it. It took me forever. It was a fucking tough paint job too, because I didn't primer it white because I am stupid. This edition, Space Marine Apothecaries on their own kick ass.
I think this is the first time you're going to see Space Marine Apothecaries show up in a lot of lists since like 5th edition, where they just gave Feel No Pain to a squad, because they don't just heal, they bring models back.
Hell yeah, they do. And the Chief Apothecary can bring models back for free. Let's talk about how this works. So the Apothecary has an aura ability, a 3-inch aura ability, where any units within 3 inches get to have what's colloquially known as a 6-up Feel No Pain,
which is never a bad thing.
Which is good, yeah. It's I think over on Goonhammer, Primaris Kevin did the math on this. It comes out to like 25% more wounds.
Damn.
Generally, the thing is, though, you can take you can use a stratagem. It's a 1 CP stratagem on an infantry or biker unit that is within 3 inches of the apothecary at the end of the movement phase. And for 1 CP, you can bring a model back with full wounds.
And the problem with that is that an Invader ATV counts as a biker unit for that, which means you can get back an 8-wound vehicle for free if it's a Master Apothecary, 1 command point if they're not. That I feel
vehicle.
That is going to get FAQ'd out. I guarantee you. It's too silly. Bringing a biker back already feels kind of silly.
The ATV it costs more than the apothecary itself. It's wild.
Yeah, it's free. It's free real estate.
But the apothecary, even if you're even if you're not using ATVs, because I don't have any ATVs, I use the apothecary all the time. It's fucking hilarious when, because it's end of the movement phase. So you just run your apothecary over to that Inceptor squad that lost a plasma Inceptor to overcharging, because come on. And then you're like, oh, well, he's back. Oh, and now he can shoot because now it's this shooting phase.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking excellent, dude. I love the apothecary. They come in almost every game I play.
Yeah, which is a huge change from the past 7 editions of Warhammer 40,000.
Yeah, so very excited about the chapter command. You can also do the Master of the Forge, so the upgrade's not too great for that one. You can also do the Chief Librarian upgrade. You can do, I think there's a company champion upgrade.
There is a company
also.
champion to make him a chapter champion, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think the Ultramarines chapter champion is a little better, so I'll keep using him for that instead of using those rules, but whatever, who cares?
It's dope as shit,
it's
dude.
so fucking cool, and I really hope they don't just do it one and done. I hope they use this sort of system in future books, because like, how cool would it be to have like, various levels of ascendancy for your chaos characters, or like this just isn't just your commissar, this is a colonel commissar or whatever.
Right.
Like having these sorts of things as like special character upgrade sort of things, I love. And while you can't really build your own character with war gear so much with a lot of new models, this still lets you have some level of customization of your characters to kind of make them characters +1, and I like that a lot. And again, I hope they keep doing it.
Great, yeah. Okay, I want to talk about Hellblasters.
Okay.
Because Hellblasters, their guns got way more interesting. And just like a lot of the plasma weaponry in this book changed big time. Like the macro plasma incinerator on the Redemptor is the new hotness, because it goes to base damage 2 and overcharges to damage 3.
Hot damn.
So strength 9, AP 4, damage 3. Like, whoa, what? That's fucking rad. So the assault Hellblasters go to assault 3.
It's wild.
So a squad of 5 gives you 15 shots. That's pretty fucking good. And and heavy Hellblasters go to base damage 2, overcharging to damage 3, which is also pretty fucking good. I built a squad of 5 heavy Hellblasters, which I think I talked about a few weeks or a few shows ago, up there. And just because I like the fucking guns.
Yeah, the
I like
guns
the way
are
they
real cool.
look. And now I'm like, fuck, I want to get these guys painted up because I want mini las cannons.
Well, also the gets hot rule, or the overheat rule, whatever the hell it's called these days, only triggers on a natural roll of 1.
Unmodified ones.
So
yeah.
you're not. So if like your assault guys run and overcharge, they're not going to die on 2s. They're only going to die on 1s, which I like that a lot. Conversely, the one thing I feel like is a stealth nerf, which honestly I can kind of take it because it was silly, is the ancient, the banner on the ancient only
Primaris
triggers
Ancient?
not even just the Primaris one, the regular one too, but that aura only triggers when they're killed by enemy models. So when your guys overheat, they don't go, oh no, I'm dying. Well, time to shoot again.
Oh god, early 8th edition was the best for that, dude.
It was really silly.
Because you could still take the relic that gave the +1 to the rolls, so you were killing your guys with their own shooting and then having them shoot again.
Yeah, I remember having Cody charge a unit of my Hellblasters, and I did Overwatch with them, overcharging, with the intent that they would die and shoot again, because when they shoot again, I think it's as your shooting phase, they shoot at regular BS. It was bullshit.
Yep.
It was so stupid. I
remember I had a game against Tim Day at Nova where he had his Castellan robots, and if you save their invulnerable on a 6, it reflects the damage back at the shooter.
Yeah.
So my Hellblasters were shooting at the Cataphrons and then getting it reflected back at them and killing them and then shooting again.
It's extremely lethal game of Pong. It's so dumb.
The best game of Pong ever. But listeners, that's no longer a thing. That's not in the Codex anymore.
I think that's actually a good thing.
Yeah,
it was
probably
very silly.
Yeah. So let's talk about some new stuff that we're excited about.
Yeah, of course.
Wait, no, there's one more change.
I think I have another cool change I like too. So,
well, small Marines all got 2 wounds.
Yeah, they did all get 2 wounds.
There is a wound increase, for anything that's not Primaris. The regular characters didn't get the small marine characters did not get wound upgrades, but small marines all go to 2 wounds, and terminators go to 3 wounds.
Wild. Oh, they also slooped together both heresy terminators into like just one generic
the relic terminator
which
squad,
I'm great with. That was already frankly
whatever.
a redundant or redundant data sheet.
There you go.
But the thing that actually excites me is that dreadnoughts got so fucking good.
Oh my God, they all okay. So dear listener, do you remember the Duty Eternal strat that halved damage coming into dreadnoughts that people would do, and it made people who didn't have Space Marines real mad? Well, guess what? All dreadnoughts have it now, but it's not half damage anymore. It's just -1 damage to a minimum of 1. And I'll tell you, bud, on a Redemptor with 13 wounds in a Macroplasma Incinerator, holy shit.
Yep.
They're so good.
Yep, and then you can have a tech marine fixing them from behind or whatever. Like it's
oh my God,
real good. Like that native Duty Eternal is so useful. They're also core, so they get to benefit from all the auras, which we'll get to core in 1 second. And it's kind of weird how they got rebalanced because like Contemptors got weaker and cheaper.
They lost their 2-up. Weapon skill and ballistic skill, yeah.
But 9th edition they can at least shoot FLBS if they move, which they couldn't before with heavy weapons. It's weird that they're like Contemptor dreadnoughts are 10,000 years old, are veterans going back to the Horus Heresy. BS3 venerable dreadnoughts are also old. BS2. All right.
Yeah, I mean you gotta find balance somewhere, right?
But either way, like every flavor of dread, I think is pretty fucking good right now. From little washing machine stompy dreads to the big Redemptors. I'm really happy for dreadnoughts right now.
Multi-meltas are back, though we talked about this already. They're so good.
Yeah.
They're so fucking good.
Might be the first time I actually use a multi-melta on a dreadnought.
I have been looking. I have a alert on Forge World for when they restock with Contemptor multi-meltas.
Oh man.
Because I'm gonna break that fucking Curious Assault Cannon off my off my Contemptor and slap a multi-melta on there as quick as I can because fuck,
I am vindicated for magnetizing my Contemptor for my Black Templars like 3 years ago.
Nice.
Yeah. But no, I love what they're doing with dreadnoughts. And let's just go to core real quick because this is an interesting sort of design tweak that they just made to the whole codex that I think is, again, it's a little frustrating in some ways because it makes some builds not work. Like the heavy metal parking lot straight up doesn't work anymore because most vehicles aren't core.
Yeah.
Basically,
I don't think any vehicles except dreadnoughts are core.
Yeah, I think so. I don't even think rhinos are.
No.
Core is essentially just a tag on a lot of like core units, the things when you think Space Marines you usually think of. So, a couple actually not even characters, just like.
Well, I can tell you what got core. Characters don't have core. No characters
have it. It's just troops.
Every infantry unit got core except for Eradicator. No, it's not Eradicator. Sorry, Centurions. There we go.
Yeah.
Every infantry unit got core except for Centurions.
Are Scouts core too?
Ooh,
because Scouts are a big loser this codex.
Oh no, they're elites now.
Yeah, they're elites with 1 wound.
Yeah, they're bad. Let's look it up.
It's like 3 points more for a tactical marine with a better save and an extra wound and better weapons.
Yeah, that are troops.
Yeah,
Scouts are real bad. Scouts are core.
Okay, cool. So yeah, the core rule I think is interesting because it does encourage you to take the normal stuff, for lack of a better term. Because like one of my problems I've always had with especially competitive 40k is your army building didn't resemble the forces you'd see in the lore. Like, when you think of a Space Marine army in any book, almost any bit of lore you read, it's like, okay, you got some like your battle line intercessor type guys, you got some vehicles backing them up, you have some elite troops on the sides or whatever, and that's kind of how it is. Instead of, when you go to a tournament, it's like, oh, what's hot this week? 3 repulsor executioners and 3 5-man squads of scouts or whatever, and 3 captains with thunder hammers and jump packs. So it's something that encourages that because, your auras only affect core guys generally. So it's a good way to encourage that, and I'm looking forward to seeing that get kind of applied across the board to other armies because, for the moment, I think it makes Space Marines feel like they kind of got the short end of the stick, but I feel like once everybody's on that level, it's going to be pretty okay.
Okay, let's talk about some new units then.
Yeah.
So we've already talked about Blade Guard because I'm working on them, and you have finished yours. I'm very excited for Blade Guard. I can't wait to get these things painted up. I did play a game against Scott Horus Heresy with some shamefully unpainted Blade Guard a couple months ago actually, and Oh man, oh, buddy, these fucking things are good.
Yeah.
I am very excited to get them on the table full time.
Same. I'm looking forward to getting them. I'm looking forward to like packing a bunch into a impulsor and just shooting them up the field and just throwing them into combat. Like
deal with these 3 wound models with 2 up saves and 4 up invulnerable saves, friends. Deal with that.
And extremely good melee weapons.
Yeah. Eradicators, obviously. Though a lot of people hate Eradicators.
I mean, I think people don't like Eradicators because they're really kind of too good, I think.
I think they could go up in points.
Yeah, I think it's funny that Eradicators basically took the shoot twice ability away from aggressors. Like only one Gravis unit can have this ability at a time, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Gladiators.
The tanks.
Yeah, I don't think their rules are necessarily the best. I think they're all a little expensive.
The rules are fine. It's the points.
They're all a little expensive for what they are.
They're like 250 points for these things.
They're so cool looking. Like every time I see, especially the Gladiator Lancer, where it's got like the long cannon, I just have the image of like a Space Marine armored company. And I love the idea of like a squadron of these things moving around and blasting stuff. And again, there's one that can shoot has like a heavy 20 Gatling gun on it, or heavy 24 Gatling gun.
Heavy 24, the Gladiator Reaper.
Yeah, it's a fucking Burt joke, and I love it. I think Gladiators are really neat. Again, it's just Predators that float now, who don't have the fly rule anymore.
I mean, they're T8, dude. They're like repulsors.
Yeah.
They're like they're repulsors with no transport capacity. No, Gladiators, they look fucking cool. I'm with you on that. It's just that I cannot get past the fact that they're like 250 points.
I mean, here's the thing, though. Like, we've established pretty firmly that while we are bad at 40K, I am extra bad at 40K. So I like the things that are really stupid.
Yeah. The Storm Speeder, however, is something I'm very excited about, which is the Primaris Land Speeder.
Yeah, I feel a little different about that. I don't like the look of that as much, but I still think it is a pretty cool unit.
Man, I am with it, dude. I like Land Speeders already, just as a thing. And I look at the Storm Speeder Hammer Strike. It's got the triple melta. It's got missile launchers. It's got crack storms. And I'm thinking to myself, when this thing comes out, I'm 100% buying it and painting at least one Storm Speeder Hammer Strike. And I'll see if I can do some creative magnetizing to build something else, because I like this one a lot.
I mean, I plan to, when I get a Gladiator, whenever that is, I plan to fuck around with magnets as much as humanly possible to make it usable for all 3. See, I'm glad that they brought veteran intercessors into like their own data sheet.
Yeah, it's their own data sheet
which
now.
I think is really cool. It's kind of like, assault intercessors and regular intercessors can be the same data sheet when they're veterans, but when they're not, they're individual ones, whatever. Who cares? I think it's cool that they're just like a mainline unit, because I felt kind of, when I converted up that and painted up that whole set, because I think Squad 10, because I thought it was really cool just to kind of have as a unit, and I think it's a cool thing to have narratively. But I always felt like it was a little shaky whether or not it would still exist in the future, because it kind of depended on a stratagem that may or may not be written out. And now it's like, okay, these are legit. These are a real thing. And again, they give people an opportunity to model and paint differently in a way that's not really dictated by a specific kit. And I really like that.
I think it's really cool. I think you're gonna have some fun with them.
I mean, I had a lot of fun painting the first 10 veteran intercessors. Now I'm like, ooh, do I do the assault intercessors I have for my Templars as assault intercessors? Dude, they have
so many attacks.
Yeah, I know, they're like 5 attacks a dude or some shit.
Dude, it's wild.
Yeah,
because their chainsword gives them an extra attack, right? And
which
then
is
they get an extra attack
now, which is really cool.
Yes, they get an extra attack for the charge because they're Space Marines. So the regular guy comes in on a charge at 5 attacks.
Yeah, I love it.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. So I think for my Black Templar boys who will get their reroll to charges and.
Oh, are you going to do veteran assault intercessors for Black Templar?
I think I might. I think that might be the way I go with this.
Oh, you son of a bitch!
Because I think that's going to be really fucking cool.
That's fucking awesome. Oh god, I can't wait to see those things. I can't wait to play you at some point in the future when those are done, and you just completely wreck my shit with those.
Well, that's the thing is, it's going to be in classic Campbell fashion. It'll be like on foot.
Yeah. Nah, man, you got to throw them in a fucking. You don't have a Black Templar upholstered.
No, I do not.
Oh, you're gonna need one.
I am gonna need one. I don't. I only have an Indomitus set for my Templars at the moment.
Okay. Well, you can add more Primaris whenever you want.
Yes, I can. They're not going to stop selling them, and they're going to be more than eager to sell them to me.
Yeah. I'm kind of glad the Thunderfire sucks now.
I am too, because like
just because there's so many shitty competitive players who are spamming them.
Yeah.
And there's a bit of Schadenfreude or Scootenfruity when people who are big into the competitive scene, like Games Workshop, just changes up the rules, and they're like, oh well, this sucks now.
I'd say it kind of feels like a lot of the codex was kind of a seesaw. Like a lot of things that were shitty are good now, and a lot of things that were good are shitty now. Yeah. Like Aggressor's getting that downgrade, Thunderfire's getting that strength downgrade, and so on. Now, that being said, next time I play against Rob and I use my Retro Ultramarines using my Thud Gun as a Thunderfire cannon, that Thunderfire cannon is still going to account for half of his Terminator casualties, because that's just how it goes when we play against each other.
That's just Rob. That's just the Rob life, man.
That's the classic Rob experience.
You want to talk about bad at 40k?
It's the Dimos lifestyle.
All right, so can we quickly talk about things we don't like from this book?
Of course.
Fire Strike servo turrets.
I love the model because it's just a StarCraft bunker, but it's so badly implemented.
No, not the bunker. I'm talking about the turret.
Oh, fuck. There's a lot of names. I think there's my stealth thing I don't like. There's 98 data sheets. I'm getting confused.
Yeah. It's like a lot of old stuff too, and I just can't deal with how ridiculous old Marines look now when you compare them to fucking Primaris Marines.
Yeah, there's some that aged better than others, but like when you see like the better proportions, it's very hard to kind of roll with it. Yeah. But yeah, what don't you like about Fire Strikes? Because I think the model is. I like the model. Okay, I've got one.
The model's not the problem. Okay. The model's fine. I just don't like the idea of it.
Yeah.
Because the Space Marines are supposed to be like this hypermobile, like super surgical fucking assault force, right? Like, what are you fucking doing with turrets? Turrets are for guard duty.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, they're also BS2s. So they're like good turrets with good guns. But you say that they still do have whatever the like the charging rule is, so they can still move 3 inches and charge 2d6. You could charge with your turrets, which is very funny to me.
I mean, yes, that's funny. It is funny, but like it's also very stupid.
Yeah.
And I don't like them. The model's good. But I just don't see how it fits a Space Marine aesthetic.
Yeah, this because that's the whole thing with the Thunderfire cannon, is that it is a mobile piece of artillery because static defense isn't what Marines do. This technically moves because it's on repulsor plates, but it's very silly.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I don't really like the Hammerfall bunker either.
I think the Hammerfall bunker is very silly. I've mentioned before in the show that I think it's adorable. I think if you left the missile turret on top, I'd like the look of it better. Its rules are kind of a mess.
Well, like here's something that I like. It would make sense if you could deploy a Hammerfall bunker like you could a drop pod. It even looks like a drop pod.
The little like lore snippet says that's how they deploy. They are dropped from high orbit. Hence the Hammerfall.
I'm on the page. I will read it. Hammerfall bunkers are launched from the Space Marines warships in the same manner as drop pods. Right there.
Preemptively in their deployment zone.
If you could do that in a game and have a Hammerfall bunker fall out of the fucking sky on turn 1, because drop pods can come down on turn 1, that would be sick as shit, and I would want one.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool. I also think its rules are really funny, but not necessarily fun, because it can shoot at every unit in range. With the flamers, that's not a big deal. It's only 12 inches of range. Especially if you could deep strike it, that would actually be legit good.
Oh, it would be hilarious if you slam down a fucking thing that shoots at everything within 12 inches with its flamers. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's like the old Deathstorm drop pods, which I think is kind of where they're getting some of the inspiration from. But with the heavy bolters, which are hitting on 4s, mind you, where they have, I think 36 inches of range. I don't think they have anything too special with that. Maybe it's 24. But they shoot every target in range. And you're just going to be rolling these ineffective dice hitting on 4s at every target in range every turn, unless someone kills this stupid thing, it's fairly durable. So they probably aren't gonna. And it just feels like the sort of thing that's going to take a lot of time and not really have great results.
Yeah.
I think it would be better as just a terrain piece to take on the field. It's also, isn't it like 270 points? Like, it's expensive too.
I think they forgot. I honestly think they forgot to put the drop pod rule in there.
I think so too, but who knows? We'll see what happens when chapter proof.
If they put the drop pod rule in there, I'm gonna fucking lose my shit. That thing would absolutely. It would be the most Space Marine thing ever.
Yeah.
It's like
deep striking your fort.
All right, we got to soften up the target. Let's quickly fire some bunkers at them.
Let's bunker rush them in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, so that's it, gang. The Space Marine book, it's fun. It's got a lot of fun flavor in it. You can do a lot of cool things, and they updated all the supplements too that are currently extant, is to bring them within the umbrella of the 9th edition book. Any fun things happen for Ultramarines?
I didn't think they did. I checked over. I think I really just checked some points adjustments. I haven't been paying too much attention. I basically just absorbed the main codex. I haven't really looked into the FAQ stuff that changed for Ultras.
Yeah, not too much happened with the Raven Guard book. Shrike got brought in line with the rules of the Chapter Master in the 9th edition rule set, and some like, when does this stratagem work questions were answered. So it was good. It's good stuff. Space Marines, man, they're fun.
Yeah, they're fun.
There's a reason why everybody plays them.
Yeah, it's not just because they get all the models. Although I will say, I've got to pour one out. The Rhino lost the self-repair rule. It's no longer going to recover a wound on a roll of a 6 if you don't shoot. That thing people did all the time.
It's made them very powerful in game.
Yeah, I know. That's why the Rhino Rush meta has persisted up through 8th edition.
All right.
Shucks.
Let's move on.
All right.
Let's get to the good stuff.
All right.
Fact or fan fiction? Campbell, hit me.
Murgo huddled behind the fallen debris that littered the spaceport, clutching the photo of his now dead father and watching in horror as a strangely dressed man fought a giant born from nightmares. How could this mortal still be alive, Selekar thought to himself as he missed blow after blow. This mongrel should have been an easy offering to Slaanesh. Was he one of the Assassinorium? Some off-space shoot of one of the temples? Some filthy savage temple in some backwater world? He carried a scatter gun in a pattern that Selekar had never seen, and a chainsword variant that seemed too unwieldy to even be used. His movements were erratic and clumsy. How could this buffoon stand even the slightest chance against the might of a legionary, especially one of the Emperor's children?
I just want to say, I think I already know what this is crossover
you
of.
Totally do. I'll swallow your soul, Selekar screamed, his vox grill amplifying the rage in his voice to a desperate scream. Come on, Judas Priest, let's dance, said the stranger. Selekar charged. As he vaulted across the deck, he hurled a piece of fallen debris at the stranger. A coward's trick, he admitted to himself, but necessary. The stranger dove to avoid the debris, and Selekar pounced, landing atop the stranger like a sexual puma. I have you now, my little pet, Selekar whispered, gently placing his flensing knife in the stranger's supple neck. Well then, pucker up, princess, said the stranger. Selekar felt the scattergun caress the armor seal of his neck a moment before it went off. A muffled thud echoed through the chamber as scattershot rounds ricocheted inside the legionary's helm, liquefying his brain. Foul liquid oozed out of the legionary's vox grill, coating the stranger in ichor as he pulled himself out from under the sagging bulk. Come on, kid. I know you're there, said the stranger. Murgo peeked out from behind his hiding place to see a man dressed in a way he had never seen before, drenched in the blood of a nightmare beast he had just slain. Hey, kid, what year is it? Said the stranger. 857 M41, said Murgo. Huh? Speak English, kid. What century is it? Asked the stranger. It's the 9th century of the 41st millennium, said Murgo. Groovy, said Ash as he deftly reloaded his 12-gauge double-barreled Remington, S-Mart's top of the line. Shop smart, shop S-Mart.
Excellent. I like that one.
Yeah, it's actually fun, and it's basically just the scene from the end of Army of Darkness, so it's pretty all right, but it's fun.
I love the Bruce Campbell Ash character.
Oh,
that's Army of Darkness, Evil Dead 2, which is really just
Evil Dead 1, but with a little bit more money.
The bad parts taken out of it. Yeah. That's great. I like that. That's obviously fan fiction, but yeah, great.
Yeah,
Thanks.
That's Hail to the Emperor, baby, by Eric Klass. I
like Bruce. I like Bruce Campbell a lot, man. He's in a lot of fun stuff.
I always am happy to see him in every film he's in. At least once I feel like I've probably lied and said I was named for him.
I like Sam Raimi, who Sam Raimi's a director. Bruce Campbell is in almost every Sam Raimi movie because they're best friends.
Yes.
They grew up together. I like Sam Raimi's movies.
Oh,
Drag Me to Hell. Oh my God. That's one of my favorites.
I still haven't seen Drag Me to Hell, although I've seen Army of Darkness in theaters like twice, I think, at Revival Theaters. Awesome. I adore that fucking movie. This is the fan fiction I had set aside. It was from the cross-function 40k challenge with a K.
Yeah.
This is the one I had set aside for when we were supposed to record last week before real life conspired against us having fun, because it's a Halloween adjacent sort of thing. And again, it's still Halloween adjacent time, even if it's a little late. So if you haven't watched Army of Darkness this year, I heartily recommend watching that film.
It's a good one. Mm-hmm. All right, let's do some plugs and get out of
Yeah, well, I preemptively plugged Army of Darkness. Go watch that. But this is not a Warhammer related thing, but I made a new cartoon for the first time in 4.5 years.
Hell yeah,
and I'm
did.
super fucking proud of it. It is called Going Out West. It is slightly autobiographical. It's on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/c/camtunes. I'll put it in the show description, so you can just hit that if you don't feel like trying to parse my YouTube URL. I've also tweeted it out and so on, so you can find it around. And again, just check the show description. It'll be in there. I'm super proud of it. It's been a long time since I made a cartoon, and I'm very excited to be animating again.
It's so great that you're animating again, dude. I went and watched it because, I'm trying to support my pal. And I'm just so happy that you're doing it.
Thanks, bud. It's a core part of my identity that I haven't really gotten to touch on in a while, so I'm happy to be back.
It makes me feel good.
Me too. Aside from that, we both write for a certain little website called Goonhammer, where you do Necro Monday all the fucking time, which is basically your third job.
Once a week.
Yep. And which it was great when there's like, I get a message from you at Sunday night at 11:30. You're like, hey, do you have a picture of Big Cum?
Yeah. So, hey, sometimes, listen, man, I get to these, I finish these articles, and I gotta publish them. I gotta put them on the website. And I'm like, fuck, I need pictures. And I'm not on Instagram.
Right.
So I'm not trolling Instagram for necro pics. Maybe I need to go on fucking Instagram, huh? Because sometimes I just need pictures.
Yeah, social media is brain poison, but on Instagram you can at least curate your feed so it's just pictures of cats and hams, which is what I do. And sometimes if it's 11:30 at night, you just need a big cum.
Yeah. Over at Goonhammer, we did on Necro Monday, we did the updated Orlok tactics article. Where we talk about the everything out of House of Iron, which you didn't buy.
No,
did
I
you?
didn't. I don't have an Orlok gang. Although
maybe next week we can talk about House of Iron a little bit. Because it's great. It's really good. So that's out there. If you're an Orlok player or you're Orlok curious, go over to Goonhammer and search Orlok and you'll find it. It's excellent. It took me a hell of a long time to write with some help from my friends. So get over there and read it.
Hell yeah.
I would also suggest, Campbell, I would also suggest that our listeners go to our Patreon.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/40k Badcast. And, throw us a couple shekels.
Yeah.
If you want to. If you don't want to, the show will always remain free and you can listen to it whenever the hell you want, and you don't have to pay for it. But if you feel like paying for it, then come on down.
For just a couple $1 dues, you can hear us talk about all sorts of more shit that isn't usually wargaming related, but it's a good time. It's just two buds hanging out. Occasionally a third bud joins us for a conversation or two. We talked about arcade games a whole bunch recently, which had a lot of people remind me that Rampage existed, and that game fucking ruled. So yeah, check it out.
You can also buy our items. I don't want to just say shirts anymore because it's not shirts. There's an apron in there too in the mix. Spreadshirt. We have an account. Campbell will tell you the URL because I can't get it right.
Shop.spreadshirt.com/40k Badcast. I think I'm going to put some stickers up there too. I think they started selling stickers through there.
Stickies.
So I think getting some stickies to slap about your neighborhood since no one else is around may as well be a good time to do it.
Yeah, well, when we put stickies up, we'll let everybody know because that's actually something that I want.
That's something I want very much.
Don't have to do business cards anymore. We can do stickies instead.
Yeah, we can just stick them on people. And
we're on social media, talking Twitter. I'm at DB_sleazy. He's at brother SRM. We got a Facebook, facebook.com/40k Badcast. I'm not on Facebook, but Campbell is, and we got a whole little community over there you can hang out with. Campbell, you're on Tumblr, Cam2D. And what else am I missing? Oh, you're on Instagram, right?
I am on Instagram. It's a bit more real life bullshit than just ham stuff, but that is Crumbs McLums, CRUMBS MCLUMBS. if that's wrong, fuck you, I guess. I don't remember what my URL is there, but yeah, I post my pictures there too. I occasionally post like some of the games I play. Even actually on our Facebook page, I posted pretty recently a battle report of my game with Dylan, so you can actually see how that unfolded on his beautiful table with his awesome dwarf army and my Daves to Darkness.
And finally, we have an email, contact@40kbadcast.com. It is the best way to get in contact with us. Send us just about anything you want, gang. It's a weird time right now here in the United States of America, here in the world.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
We we want to be supportive and show some empathy and care towards our listeners. So if you drop us a line, and you can talk about whatever you want, and we will get back to you.
Yeah.
It might not be immediately, but we'll get back to you. We love our listeners. We hope you're doing well. We hope you're staying safe and happy out there. It's getting to be winter, so, do your best, gang. It's going to be a tough one this winter. So do your best out there. Try to stay safe. Try to stay healthy. And just remember, there's two fuckers on the internet that are extraordinarily grateful that you listen to the show. And hey, we love you.
Hell yeah.
All right, let's get this quote and get the fuck out of here.
As usual, we end an episode on an inspirational quote that you can carry with you from day to day and hopefully not take to heart too hard. The sustenance of life is on the battlefield.
It's also betwixt two hard, crunchy corn tortillas at your local Taco Bell.
At your local Torko Borko.
Torko. All right. That's it. 40k Badcast. We are bad at 40k. You can too. And we will see you at the next drive-thru.
Yeah, ooh, there it is.
Ooh.